Welcome to episode 3 of the weekly watch list, where we give you 3 companies that we're looking at in the stock market, and we're going to hope that we can make some money off it and hope you guys can too. So he's going to start us off with Bank of America. Go ahead.
All right, guys, this week, as you know, we try to bring you the most value every week and what we think you could be using your capital towards. And this week, we think the first pick is going to be Bank of America. Reason being, they're trading at a very attractive price to earnings ratio. They're the second largest bank in the nation, and we think they could be undervalued right now. So let's get right into it. Bank of America is the second largest by market cap bank in the nation, only behind JP Morgan Chase. We think that they're poised for success over the future because, as you can see, if we go to their one-year graph, in February, they were trading at $34, and we still haven't recovered. This is no surprise because the downturn from the virus that we're seeing in our society is causing the banks to have a little bit of trouble right now. That's not to worry because they should be able to rebound, but as we go down here and look at the price-to-earnings ratio, it's a little under 13, meaning that you're paying a little under 13 times what they're earning. Guys, this is severely undervalued, and we think this could be a great value play for anybody with a little amount of money or that could be just starting out. Another added bonus to this stock is that they have a great dividend at 2.1%, which will be paid quarterly.
And along with that, for the people that might not have like a lot of money that they're investing in the stock market, even if you are a big spender, I mean, Warren Buffett has put millions into the stock constantly. It doesn't matter the price because he knows he's going to make money off the dividend. So if you're a long-term investor, you're looking to make dividends, you're looking to hold, maybe get a little bit of growth, banks are safe. And everyone knows that, especially the number 2 bank in the U.S., you're not going to really have to worry about anything because they're not going anywhere. Even with the pandemic that has hit us over the past few months, the Fed has stated that they're going to do everything they can to make sure that banks are safe, that they're not going to close down. We're not going to have another Great Depression. And like we've heard things over and over and over again that we're going to do whatever it takes. We're going to do whatever it takes. The banks are safe, and they are an easy way to make money off dividends. If you're going to go with the number 2 bank in the U.S. by market cap, you're not going to have to worry about your stock plummeting to zero. That's never going to be a thought in your mind.
Yeah.
And that's something that I think a lot of people are always worried about. Like, oh, I want to flip this stock, but this stock's kind of cheap, and I don't know what they're actually going to do.
It could go bankrupt.
Especially people that get in. Yeah, exactly. Especially people that like are just getting into it. People like that are new. I know we like saw some like, oh, this is a great cheap buy. Like whenever we started, and I mean, you never know with some of those smaller companies or companies that are more risky. This is just a safe bet, and you don't really have to worry about it.
Yeah, and I mean, if we look at the 5-year graph, before the downturn, the last 5 years they had 115% growth. You're getting safety and that great rebound opportunity that we're having right now. I mean, it's a no-brainer for us guys. It really is.
Absolutely.
It's a boring play, but it's a safe one. So we find a lot of value in this one. Anyway.
With our next pick, we're going to go over Ulta Beauty. When we're talking about Ulta Beauty, we're talking about a company that has been around for about 30 years now, and they have a huge market, obviously because the makeup industry is ginormous. And the customers that come in, they are always coming back because there's always new stuff. They are the company is not worried about their customers not being loyal because they come back for the same products that they believe are solid for the customer, and the customer believes in the same thing. So when we're looking at that, their business model isn't just about the in-store. So they have your in-store model, just like your brick and mortar, but they also have e-commerce. So when someone comes into their store, they want to try something out, they want to try a new color, something along those lines. Obviously, I'm not the best to describe all these things because I've only stepped foot in Ulta Beauty a few times, you know what I mean? But when it comes to that, you can try on different stuff, and then you can buy it online. So if you want to buy something that is your color and they don't have it in the store, you can go and buy it online. Or you buy it, and a few months later you run out. Instead of having to go to the store, which we believe is becoming outdated when you see with malls and different things like that less people and less people are going to. You can still buy it online, have it to your house the next day, and it's not a big deal. The thing that I like about Ulta right now is that before the pandemic, they were sitting at right under $300 a share, and they still have not fully recovered from that. So there's definitely a way for you to make some money over the next 3 to 6 months if they recover, and then plus some, because everyone is ready to release new stuff. They have different celebrities and partnerships like the Kardashians and the Jenners and all these other internet stars that are just waiting to put out all this makeup, all these other things, their makeup brushes, and they have endless amounts of inventory that they can sell that they haven't necessarily pushed out yet because they know a lot of people may be struggling right now, or they have been for the past few months. So I think that there's a lot of money for the company to be made, and once those numbers come in over the next like 2 to 3 quarters, the stock price is going to shoot up. So right now it seems like a really good time to buy for me, sitting around the 230 to 240 mark, because that gives you like $60 per share to play with before it fully recovers. And like that's not something that you're seeing with every stock, and especially not one that has such an impact on at least half the population.
Yeah.
So
they know their target audience.
So he's going to give us some of the numbers on that. He knows a little bit more about that than I do. He cares a lot more about this company. He loves to go. So he's going to give you that real quick.
Oh yeah, big Ulta guy. Right now, they're boasting 1,200, like almost 1,300 locations, like 1,264 locations to be exact. Within the next 5 years, they have really aggressive expansion plans, which is very exciting for the company. They're looking to get 1,500 to 1,700 more brick-and-mortar locations, with a rise in their e-commerce sales over the past years, which is very exciting for the company. A downside would be that they are trading at a premium right now. Like he said, it's still not a bad buy around the 230 to 240 range, but they still are trading at 50 times price to earnings and offer no dividend. So you might be saying, well, why am I buying an overpriced company? Like, that's speculative, because this company, the way they can grow and their aggression in growing their revenues could provide still significant returns. There's a difference between buying something that you may see as, oh man, that price to earnings is high, and that's just completely overvalued, like thousands of price to earnings, right? This company has proven revenues, they're growing their revenues, and for that reason, I don't think it's unjustified. 230 to 240 for the stock, not a bad buy at all. Under 200, it's an instant buy for me. If this stock ever dips under 200, I will be adding shares. With that being said, management has been, if we go to the 5-year graph, very successful at scaling their business over the last 5 years. They've grown 46% over the last 5 years. That's with the downturn included, which is very exciting. Without the downturn, if we go back to February highs, we're seeing that they grew 83%, which is even more inspiring when looking at their numbers. So overall, I think it's a time and tested beauty brand that will continue to bring loyal customers through the door. My girlfriend loves it. Pretty sure your girlfriend loves it. Their men's section is not bad, I'll give them that, but they have some room to grow. They have some room to grow there. But over the long term, I see this as being a very successful business model. So with that being said, we'll move into our next pick, which is Nintendo.
So when we talk about Nintendo, we talk about a company that has brand recognition. I don't know many people who don't know what either Mario, Pokemon, or Zelda is. I mean, that was a staple for even an older generation growing up who either played video games or knew somebody who did. And to this day, kids still know what Pokemon is, and they still know who Mario is, and they still play their games. So this company has had a lot of success, obviously, over the past 35 years. I believe this year is their 35th anniversary. But they did have a downturn because of the stock market crash in 2008. And that is one of those reasons why I feel like their stock price has been so low, is they're trying to find a way to get those numbers back up. So they released the Wii in 2006, and it was a big hit. But then, of course, when the stock market collapsed pretty much, they had some trouble trying to figure out where they're going to go from there. But luckily for us, people trying to invest, they have figured it out. And we've seen that as far as with 2017, whenever they released this thing called the Nintendo Switch. So obviously they all have they have Mario, they have Pokemon, they have all that stuff. They've had the DSs, they've had all these different gaming consoles and different gaming devices. But in 2017, we saw a little bit of fluctuation. They tried to release a new console like they did with the Wii back in 2006, and it wasn't necessarily a big hit right away, which left a lot of people a little confused. It's like Nintendo, it's supposed to be this big gaming company, it's supposed to be everything and anything we ever wanted. But they had a little bit of trouble at first. But now, with everything that's happened in the world, especially in our nation, they are picking up traction and picking up speed, and it has been quick. So with their gaming consoles, they have the Switch, they have the Switch Lite, they still have all their other portable stuff. But they're trying to figure out a way for new consoles and to follow up with companies like Sony or Microsoft who have the Xbox and PlayStation. So they have rumors right now. Nothing is set in stone. But by 2021, they are trying to push for a new Nintendo Switch. So that leaves us with two different things. They're going to have new games and a new console for people to buy, which means lots of money that they can make. With such a big following that they've gained over the past 6 months, really. They're trying to push for 4K, and they haven't announced any new licensing deals, but they have announced that they are in talks. And that's a good thing for us if we're trying to invest. Because, say, they they get together with a company that has a good standing with the community, with the gaming community, the stock price is going to go up a couple of dollars at least, a good percentage, just because they announced, not even because they released yet.
Yep.
So you're going to get a boost when they announce, and then you're going to get another boost when they release. And that's game by game and console by console. Not to mention that they are partnered with Universal Studios, and they are opening up Nintendo Land in Japan, supposedly this fall. I don't know exactly their tentative schedule with everything that happened over the past few months, but that is opening up. That should bring in revenue. They're going to make money off their own park in Universal Studios. And there's also going to be another one in California and in Orlando, Florida, coming out over the next 2 to 3 years. And that's all tentative. But when those places are open to the public, they're just going to make more money off of it. And the stock price is just going to go up because they're going to bring that old household name back to what it was before, in my opinion. And I think that they can do that based off of the community that they have behind them and the people that they have that are diehard Nintendo fans.
Yeah. And I mean, with all of those positives, when you dissect that from a financial standpoint, it gets pretty interesting because this could be the rebound that Nintendo was really looking for. The price still doesn't reflect that. Obviously, that's why we're bringing it to you, because we think you should be looking at it. The price to earnings is only like 20, so it's playing like the role of a value stock, when in reality, it could have the potential of a growth stock here, and we think that because of their great products. So getting a little bit into that, we've seen profit per share up 541% over the last 12 months, guys. 541%, absolutely explosive growth. You don't see that happen normally. That's probably attributed to the Switch's popularity. They've made a really good product that everybody loves. So with that, when you take a larger scope and look at their net profit for the last 12 months, that is $3.2 billion in the last 12 months. And they have not opened Nintendo Land. They have not added a ton of Switch games yet, like a huge library yet. And even then, if we go even further, their digital game sales, not including consoles, not including like people who are actually buying the physical Nintendo Switch, just the games on the Switch, is up 71.8% year over year. That means this time last year till right now, they have grown their digital game sales 71.8%. That is insane. That's just crazy. And it's trading for 20 times price to earnings ratio. That is just, you don't see that. You don't see explosive growth in a company like that and it just be neglected like that. It's crazy. Nintendo's here to stay. I don't know what people are thinking. People love it. I don't think it's going anywhere.
And the traction that they've gained especially over the past 6 months, while all these other companies are losing money, they're making
killing it,
massive gains. And it doesn't make any sense because a lot of their games are not necessarily new. Like they use Mario and Pokemon, and they're essentially very similar games to what they've released before.
Yeah.
They're just selling the name. They're selling their brand constantly. So they're not having to pay developers to create a completely new game.
Mm-hmm.
They just want them to upkeep and add a few features and change the graphics a little bit. And they can save a lot of money on that because they're not paying a whole development team to create a completely new game. There's no extra creators and things like that they have to outsource or spend extra money on. Everything seems to be pretty much in-house with their big stuff, and they're going to bring in other licensing deals to, increase profits. That's as simple as it gets with them.
And they're being treated like a company losing money on the bottom line, when in reality, the last 12 months, $3.2 billion is what they have net. So, I don't know what else to say about that, guys. This one is also a no-brainer buy. As you can see, I have not established a position yet. We're looking at a lot of different things, but if you wanted to establish a position in Nintendo, I don't think you could go wrong here. You can see we have a little bit of buying power on the right side of the screen. We'll be doing something with that in the coming weeks, but this will about wrap it up for this week's episode. As you guys know, we are not financial advisors, so do your own due diligence. We're just here to share our opinions and start some conversations. And with that being said, we'll see you next week.
Like, comment, and subscribe.